Hey gang, so you know Jason VanSpronsen from Future Pro Goaltending, and we powwow every so often, so we were just having a chit chat, but we were talking about the RVH and sort of the uses, but also some trends that you're seeing in the NHL this season. And so I was like, I gotta go get the camera. We're gonna video this so everyone can eavesdrop. Well, go over that again if you don't mind.
Basically, we're just talking about how the RVH is being overused at basically every level that we're seeing right now. That goalies are using it sort of as a safety blanket and something that they can comfortably get into, that they think they're covering a lot of net. The problem is it's being way overused right now, and they're using it in the wrong situations. So it should really only be used right in tight to the net when the shooters don't have any options or have any angle to get the puck up or find those little spaces or pick apart a corner of the net that's actually open. So you have to be real selective in when you're actually using it, as opposed to just using it all the time because you're comfortable with it and you think it's a spot that's going to cover a lot of net. The biggest problem right now is that shooters are smart, coaches are smart, and they're developing drills and training on ways to pick apart those areas. So if they know in their scouting process that they know a goalie is going to be using the RVH a lot, they're practicing ways that they can expose it, and getting shooting pucks up by their head and just hoping it banks off of them, off their head, off their back, or finding that small area in the top corner where it could potentially still go in the net. And it's all because they're overusing it and they're doing it in the wrong situations instead of the technique or the times when it was developed for, which is in tight plays right next to the net.
And right next to the post.
Yeah,
you know,
really where they don't have any area to get an actual full shot away, when they're sort of jamming away or reaching or pulling it up front of the net to try and get a shot. But if you're using it on areas where shooters are driving down the wing or stepping out of the corner and they have time and space to get a full shot, shooters are too good, especially at the pro level, where they're going to be able to pick apart that area that you're actually giving them still to score.
So I have a follow-up question.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's two follow-up questions. That's the first one. So what, like if they're out a little more in front or a little further out, then what should the goalie be doing instead, or is it?
The best method to probably use is the overlap method. And for those of you that don't know, the overlap method is where you are one step out ahead of the post and your skate is pretty much on or over the goal line, so that your pad on the strong side is actually overlapping the post. Mm-hmm. And so what that allows you to do is actually go down in still a normal butterfly, mm-hmm. but a step out still where you're going to be covering a lot more net. And that larger butterfly is going to be covering a lot more net with a lot less holes in it. And that's especially useful when they're coming down the wing or stepping out from the corner far away. You just got to make sure that you're not sitting in that RVH position when they're too far away from you. It should be within a stick length, right around the net. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then the other follow-up question was, because we both work with lots of kids that are in high school still and aren't finished growing, and they aren't, they're 6'4", and so too, is that a factor, or just, or even someone like me who I'm pretty much done growing and I'm 5'5", and so, does that have a impact on whether you should be using the RVH even in those situations?
It's a huge factor.
Yeah.
If they're seeing all these NHL goalies do it, mm-hmm. and so they want to copy them, which I would too when I was a young kid. I'd try and copy what the NHL goalies were doing, and so they're seeing them do it. The problem is that if you look at the average height of the goalies in the NHL right now, it's about 6'2" to 6'3". So all these goalies are a lot bigger than most of these younger kids that are trying it. And if you're trying to get in these positions when you're smaller, you are going to be exposing a lot more net. Now, the shooters aren't as good at that level, so they might not be able to pick those small areas apart, but you are giving them a lot more net to do it, and you are just developing not worse habits for later when you do get older, and the shooters do have better habits. So, yeah, definitely size is a huge factor. It is more beneficial to be big if you want to use that save selection. So, I'd recommend using it a little less than probably most goalies are now, so that way we're able to cover more net. And if everybody wants a good example of times when not to use it, you can check out our Instagram page at Future Pro Goalie School, and there's tons of examples every day of NHL goalies actually letting in bad goals from those positions.
Okay, that's beauty. Thanks, Jay.